Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you my Pokemon Home Living Dex. I'm going to give you a tour of all my Pokemon collected over the years. I started back in 2018 trying to catch every Pokemon from their native region as part of Birdkeeper Toby's Living Dex challenge, but I struggled to get it finished when trying to find the Mythicals. I resumed the challenge in 2022 and have now got all 905 available Pokemon as of Scarlet and Violet coming out in 3 weeks. I hope you enjoy. To start off, we've got the Kanto Pokemon. Most of these were caught in either Let's Go Pikachu, Sun and Moon, or in the Virtual Console games from Generation 2. As you can see, Sandshrews from the Virtual Console, Beedrill is from Let's Go, and Blastoise is from Sun and Moon. I've got all of them in Dex order as a Living Dex normally does. Moving on to Gen 2, we've got all the Gen 2 Pokemon, and 99% of these have been caught in the Virtual Console game, as seen by the icon in the bottom right near the English sign. My Mew up here was from BDSP, and that was from having save data from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. As we move along, there's still more from Generation 2. Moving on to Gen 3, we've got some of the Johto Pokemon still in there. Lugia and Ho are ghost stamped because I found it easier to transfer them in as opposed to moving them from other games that I might still be using them in, like Lugia for instance. All the Hoenn Pokemon are originally from either Sun and Moon or bred in X and Y, because at the time I didn't have a copy of any Generation 3 games. To finish this challenge though, I did end up borrowing a copy of Omega Ruby and was able to get a Groudon, a Rayquaza and a Deoxys, all with me as the original trainer. Same with Jirachi. Jirachi's from BDSP and it was from having save data from Sword and Shield. But for the most part, most of these Hoenn Pokemon aren't from Hoenn, they're from Sun and Moon. One of my favourite parts of this collection that I have, 99% of these Gen 4 Sinnoh Pokemon are from the original Diamond and Pearl games. So if I check the summary and move myself over, this Prinplup is from the Sinnoh region in 2018. Same with the Piplup, same with the Infernape, and as you can see, I've got my Sinnoh Pokemon, and now we move on to Unova. But all of these Mythicals are from Legends Arceus, except for Victini, which obviously you can't get in Legends Arceus, and this was part of the victory event that we recently had in Sword and Shield. I do have one from Unova that I caught during the event then, but it's in Sword and Shield at the moment. All my Unovan Pokemon are from Unova natively. Cycling through them all, except for Genesect, which has been ghost stamped, obviously. Got my Kalos Pokemon. So I started my challenge back in Gen 6, so most of these are from X and Y and caught by me. Actually, in fact, apart from some of the Mythicals, such as Diancie, which was part of a distribution event, all of these Pokemon has me as the original trainer, as the OT. So we move on to Alola. All of these caught in Sun and Moon, or most of them at least. We've got Marshadow, obviously from distribution, and we've got Melmetal from Pokemon Go. We've got my Gala Pokemon, all in order, and the one time Zarude you can get in Pokemon Go is Ghost Stamped, and I moved it over as my last Pokemon to enter this Pokedex. And to finish the Living Dex portion of this off, we've got all the Hisui Pokemon and the special Magearna with the Pokeball style that you get for completing the National Dex. now I'm going to show you my forms and different variants of Pokemon. So we've got the regional variants from the Alola region. We've got Galarian forms. We've got the Hisui forms. Now we've got the Alcremie forms. These took me about a week and a half to get all 64 sweets and catch 64 wild Milcery. I preferred doing that as opposed to breeding them. We've got all the Oricorio from Sun and Moon in their different styles. All of the Flabebe, Floette and Florges from X and Y, including the very rare white one. We've got every different Minior colour, every seasonal version of Deerling, so summer, autumn, winter and spring. We've got every pattern of Vivillon except for the fancy pattern one, I think. Wasn't able to get that. We've got all 3 Lycanrocs, and all of them except for Dust Lycanroc are from Sun and Moon. We've got every Troom of Furfrou available from Pokemon Go. All of the Deoxys forms from Pokemon Go. And my personal favourites that I'd like to show off. All 3 of the Weather Trio from the Dream Radar game, as you can see from their Dream Ball that they've been caught in, and the Nova region, that's where they've first been met. So going back to the other forms that I've got, I've also got all the Gigantamax Pokemon with their Gigantamax icon, except for Flapple and Toxtricity with the different version, because I've only got Shield at the moment. We've got all the Rotoms, all the Burmies and Wormadams, and the Shellos and Gastrodon. And I've got both versions of Toxtricity, Indeedee, and I've got an Antique Sinistea and an Antique Poltergeist. And lastly, for my form Pokemon, I've got the 10% Zygarde Dog, Skyform Shaman, Battlebond Greninja, and only 3 of the Ashhat Pikachus, unfortunately. And we've also got every size of Pumpkaboo here. Lastly, we've got my souvenir Pokemon. So these are Pokemon that hold a special place in my heart that I have not put in my living decks. They have specific memories associated with them, and I would like to show them off to you. So this top row is all my Pokemon that I originally used in Gen 4 in my first play of Pokemon Diamond. Underneath we've got the Gen 5 Pokemon from my first playthrough of White 2. There's one slot missing because Chun-Li, my Medicham, was also used in my Gen 5 playthrough. For Gen 6 we have a pretty cool Gen 6 team with Yveltal, the legendary, being there, and that's why it was ghost stamped in my living decks portion. Underneath we've got my Gen 7 Pokemon and my Gen 8 Pokemon that I used during my playthrough. My Hatterene, which I nicknamed Nightmare, is Gigantamax because I wanted to hunt for a Gigantamax Pokemon to use in my playthrough. Next we have my Gen 7 competitive Pokemon. These were all bred competitively for the Battle Tree and was my first little thing where I started to do competitive. Next we've got my Spare Legends. All of these have me as the original trainer. They're not super special, but they're cool to have just in case I need to trade them or want to have a spare legendary on a team. Here we have my Rainbow Shinies. This section took quite a while to organise, but I'm very proud of it. These mainly caught in Sun and Moon, X and Y, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So we've got Noodles here and George. These were chain fished back in X and Y. We've got Christmas Bug the Scolipede. It was my first attempt at a Masuda method hunt, or one of the first. And then we've got Heartscale the Kommo-o, who took no time at all to find because it was a random encounter, so I wasn't expecting it. Next we have some more shinies. Most of these are from Legends Arceus, the Despair and the Skrelp and Dragalge were chain fished in X and Y. Now I'm going to show you all my super special Pokemon from shiny hunts that I've done over the years. First off we have Brick the Shiny Grouper, who I caught in a Master Ball in Sword and Shield. He took me over 950 knockouts and over 2 months of on and off hunting to get him. I decided to call him Brick because the hunt was so frustrating from time to time that I wanted to hit my head against a brick wall, and the pink colour obviously matches a brick a little bit. Next we've got Spicy Mama. This was back when I was a little bit younger and naming Pokemon was a bit more random. This was a hunt that I did in Sun and Moon and was fortunate enough to get a female Salandit before having to reset the hunt to try and get a female, if that makes sense. We've got Pokey the Tapu Lele. This was caught with the Dynamax Adventures and only took me 5 encounters, so it's kind of special because it was a hunt that I wasn't actually expecting to get very quickly. Next we've got Shiny Duozen the Phlegm Baby, and this was one of my favourite hunts to do, and even though the shiny is barely different from the original, he's one of my first level 100 second stage Pokemon. We've got Turk the Relicanth, who I chain fished for in 2020. Perish the Politoed, also caught in a Master Ball. Perish is my favourite shiny Pokemon and Politoed is my favourite Pokemon in general. I just love the colours and the design, and yeah, that's why it's my favourite. I've got Santo the Gossifleur, who is my most recent hunt I did before making this video, from the random encounter method. Lilac was part of the Dynamax Adventures and it was a shiny that I really was looking for, and surprisingly got quite early. Frangipani, I SOS chained Petalil back in Sun and Moon to catch it. Velocity was a random encounter hunt in the Galar region, obviously. Doof, a similar hunt. Most of these shiny Pokemon are just very cool looking shinies, and from a list of shiny Pokemon that I decided to hunt whenever I wanted to do a hunt. I've got Isotope the Golurk, which was actually caught quite close to Doof here, so these two were on my team while hunting for other shiny Pokemon for a while. Got Pepto the Ice-Q. I actually got Pokerus while hunting for this and didn't notice until after I'd caught the shiny, which was quite fascinating. Got Purple Rain. Purple Rain is very special to me because it was my first full odds hunt that I managed to catch, and it was just a random encounter that I got back in the Sinnoh games back in 2018. We've got Bluebone the Tyrant, who I'm not going to evolve. Lelo, my Goodra, which from the icon would normally be from the Hisui region, but I wanted to evolve it in Sword and Shield as kind of a special Pokemon. And we've got Amy, my latest Pokemon that I've shiny hunted just before making this video, and I'm also not going to evolve it like the Tyrant. My two last special shiny Pokemon, we've got Dragonair from the White Tree in Pokemon White 2, and it was a gift Pokemon, and the obvious shiny Gyarados that everybody gets, but I consider this special because it was from the Virtual Console. And that's it for my Pokemon Home Living Dex tour. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learnt something new and got inspired to do your own Pokedex and sort them all like I did. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.